Who is this ghastly man?
Your one and only favorite Muppet. Hey there, Boomerites. What is happening? It is King Boomer, back with the ultimate level of Muppetism for you. That's right. Good news on the movie reactions, and, well, I don't know if it's good news. I'm looking into getting an editor. I'm testing one out to see how the movie reaction comes back. And if it goes well, you'll see some more movie reactions on the channel. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to really edit them much anymore, so I'm looking into that. But it got me looking at my own movie reactions lately, and Shaun of the Dead. I noticed in Shaun of the Dead, a lot of you guys pointed out that Dylan Moran was in there, and he was the very, I forget the character's name, but he was the very annoying character. I hated that character. I hated him. I was so happy when the zombies got him and ripped him apart. It was quite graphic, but I really hated that character. And I don't hate Dylan Moran. It's just he did a terrific job playing that character. It made me hate him so much in that movie. But I've only done one reaction to Dylan Moran in a stand-up, so I'm gonna be reacting to him doing stand-up. This video is posted on Universal Comedy, which I will be putting a link for the original video and Universal Comedy's channel in the description below this video, so you guys can check it out. Universal Comedy is one of my favorite stand-up channels, and they're posting stuff all the time. They're fantastic. But on Universal Comedy, you got Dylan Moran, and it's titled "On Why We Envy Children," which, I find myself wishing I was a kid all the time. Sorry, I can't really speak today. But there's always times where I'm like, man, I wish I was a kid again. So it'll be interesting to see a comic's perspective on that subject. But do me a favor before you watch. Check the notification bell. Make sure it's turned on so you know whenever videos drop on the channel if you like what you see. And like, subscribe, do whatever the hell you want. Okay? It's a free world out there. Now, let's check out Dylan Moran. That still blows my mind that he was that guy in Shaun of the Dead. So, bravo to him. Let's check out his stand-up here. Here we go.
Now, I meant to talk about something else earlier on, and I forgot what it was. I've remembered what it is again, but I've also forgotten. And that's really what adulthood is like most of the time. You know,
True.
You spend a lot of time walking back to the room to get the thing that you left the room so that you would go and use it somewhere else, and on your way back to the room to get the thing, you forget not only what it is, but what room it was in, and you're faced with the people who love you looking at you going, what do you want, why are you here? And you go, I don't know. You spend an awful lot of time like that. And children aren't like that, which is why they look so young, because they always have a sense of style and purpose. When they're walking around, they have a very definite purpose. They're walking and walking, and it's a great walk as well. It's not an adult sort of bemused shuffle. It's that, I'm going over here. You say, why are you going over there? Because I have a harmonica. What are you doing with a harmonica? I'm going to put it in the toilet. And why are you doing that? Enough questions. Goodbye. Because children express themselves. That's how they look young and vibrant and alive, and why we all envy them. The child, you know, the children can be incredibly difficult to understand when you're grown up. You forget that you were a child. Something simple like a child going to bed. You know, you say bedtime, bedtime, bedtime. That's not what the child hears. What the child hears is lie down in the dark. For hours. And don't move. I'm locking the door now.
If I was a kid and my dad told me that, I'd probably be like, okay. I'd be terrified, but I'd actually listen to him a lot more than I did when I was a kid.
So the child has trouble with that, so of course you make a concession. You read a fairy tale or something, you know, all the wisdom of the world compacted into a little story. And you say there was a little girl lost many, many miles from home, walking through the woods, late at night with the creatures all hooting and howling in the bushes around her, stepping over the roots of trees. And she came to the old sty and began to climb it, but it broke, you see. It broke and she fell down. But then when she got herself up, she was all right, and you could see the lights at home. And she began to walk towards home, and then a thing ate her. Good night. Night-night. You probably sent the child to bed because you were just tired talking to the child, because the child asks you questions. You see, and this is one of the great things about having a child. You look forward to teaching this child about the world and how it works. But the children are, they're like children, but they're bigger and they're webbed. They're not really interested in your views on the world. You know, they have their own questions. What is the name of the spaces in between the bits that stick out on a comb? I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, what do you call the place underneath the kettle? I don't know! Bedtime!
Because I got a child on the way. I got a lot to look forward to in answering questions, because I know kids come up with wild and crazy questions, so I got that to look forward to. It's gonna be, I feel like it's gonna be tough, because I'm not the most patient person, but I better learn some patience before she arrives in the world.
But it's difficult. Children sleep in your bed. This is part of having children. It's very important for a child's development to sleep in the grown-up's bed, because their bones are growing in particular directions. You see, what happens is children are actually very sophisticated. They sleep in your bed for a reason. The child is born, it takes a look around, it thinks, well, this isn't quite what I'd hoped for. These people are idiots. I wouldn't have painted the house like this at all. But I've got to make the best of it. So how do I've got to maximize my resources. So the key thing is to stop these people having any more children.
This is psycho shit.
So
here.
Children get urine samples sent through the post and sprinkle it on their beds. They're busy people. They don't have time to pee the beds themselves. And then they crawl into your bed. And because their bones are growing and everything, they can only sleep in certain positions, obviously. The crucifix and the swastika tend to be the most popular. Sometimes a combination of the two.
What is this artwork in the
Really
background?
relaxes a child is to have the big toenails lodged squarely in your respective genitalia. That ensures a blissful night's slumber. Then the sexual kidnapping is complete. No touchy-touchy, no kissy-kissy. You two need lots of sleep. I have many questions for tomorrow. Very important.
Not gonna lie, it sounds like a nightmare scenario that he's just painted for us.
And I think sometimes I'd love to be like you. Cool and calm and unemotional. Protestant, in short. It's a fantastic religion. It makes absolutely no demands upon you at all.
Wait a minute, what happened to his hair? His hair looked totally different the first time, but once the Universal Comedy icon came up, it's like his hair changed, but it's the same stand-up, isn't it?
Which is why it's not a great religion. All great religions are built on shame. You don't have any of that if you're Protestant. You go to the church, you sing a few hymns, have a cup of tea, everybody goes home and has a wank. You see, you have the freedom of mind to walk into a room and see a plate of biscuits, say, and you look at them and you think, well, there's a plate of biscuits. I might have a biscuit, I might not, I might have one later. I might put it in my pocket and give it to somebody else. I don't really mind, it's just a biggie. It's not like that if you're Catholic. You walk in the room, you see the plate of biscuits, there could be other things going on in the room. The room could be on fire. It could be full of naked clowns killing each other with crossbows. This doesn't matter to you because all you see is the plate of biscuits. Because you think, oh no, I'm going to eat them. I know I am. I'm going to eat them. I'm going to eat them all. Oh no, I know I am. I'm even walking towards them. I wasn't aware of that, but I am now. I've actually started to eat the biscuits. Help me, help me. Oh, they're delicious. Oh, the shame.
I was raised Catholic, and I guess for those of you who follow the channel, obviously know that I'm not anymore. But when I went to church growing up, those the body of Christ, as they would call it, they were so thin and they stuck to your mouth, and they were. It was like the worst. I don't even know if they were bread, but if they were bread, it's the worst bread ever created in the history of the world. It literally, it tasted like I was eating like the leather out of an airplane seat or something like that. It was just god awful. So when he's saying it's delicious, I'm like, what kind of biscuits were you getting? Because the body of Christ that I was receiving growing up, going to church on Sunday, it was not even remotely delicious. So I kind of makes me want to go to the church he used to go to.
The same.
And try to test it out for myself.
I can't tell which is nicer, the biscuit or the shame. It's a child's biscuit, that's perfect. I don't deserve a grown-up one with dark chocolate on it. Oh, they're so nice, now they're all gone. The shame. That's all I've got left. Nothing can make me feel better now, except cocaine. On and on and on. And yet, people still turn to Jesus. You will notice, though, that the kind of people who turn to Jesus tend to be the sort of people who haven't done that well with everybody else. Like the people who are here, for instance. They say to themselves, well, I can't get it right in this lifetime, but in the next life, it'll be right. In the spiritual afterlife, which makes no sense at all, really. It's your choice, of course, if you want to believe all this, but why would you want a spiritual afterlife? Surely you should sort your spirit out now while you're here. The spirit is what is challenged. The spirit is what suffers all the knocks. The spirit is the thing you've got to master. If you are going to have an afterlife, why not just have a physical afterlife? Just come back as a tentacle and a set of lips looking for huge lumps of chocolate to fuck. It'll be much more.
What fucking random shit was that? That was one of the most random things I've ever heard a comedian say. That was so random. It was great, though. I loved it. But that was random as hell. Play that again.
If you are going to have an afterlife, why not just have a physical afterlife? Just come back as a tentacle and a set of lips looking for huge lumps of chocolate to fuck. It'll be much more, reasonable. Because the fact is, you prop yourself up with your compulsions all the time. I'm quite a compulsive person. I only worked this out recently. I'm compulsive, but I'm also very indecisive. I don't know what I want, but I know that I want it now. And I thought
I'm the
for
same
ages,
way.
Everybody was like this. I thought everybody woke up a couple of mornings a week in the shower with Marmite clotted handcuffs, but apparently not.
Marmite clotted handcuffs.
There are sensible choices, obviously. I don't take loads of drugs because it's tedious. Everything becomes too routine. You take the drugs, you stay there for 9 hours going, and you run out of, and you have to go and buy more. It's just this endless cycle of repetition. I don't get it.
He said that so nonchalantly, like, oh man. This guy's funny. Yeah. He's different, though. It's like, he's not... What's the word? He's not very animated. He's saying these goofy, weird things, and sometimes smart things. So nonchalantly, it's different. I like it.
And, you can get addicted to all sorts of things, except fruit. But Jesus isn't a very good role model for children, I don't think. They'd be far better off with somebody who's less whiny. He did complain an awful lot, Jesus. Oh, nails, oh, vinegar. You're the Messiah. Get on with it. Would you stop? Batman is a far more useful role model for children. He was orphaned as well. He didn't moan about it. He went to Tibet and did press-ups and things with Bunsen burners and came back and put on the ears and got up on the roof ready for anything, dealing with his own personal issues. Jesus moaned all the time. You'll see this in the pictures, pointing outside of the picture. In all the Catholic iconography, pointing, I want that one. What's he got? He's got cream on his. Oh, I want that. What is that? Or blaming people. It was him. He hurt my feelings. But you lose so much.
Okay, so we've gone into another part, but that part was interesting and weird and goofy. Toss that away. Need to get more water after this. But let's continue. I like him. I like him. This is only my second time reacting to him, but I like him.
Of that natural, human panache that children have. You know, you tell the child to go to bed, and it puts that against what it wants to do, and synthesizes, and says, I hate you. I really hate you. As they're scratching their arse with a toy elephant. Now,
So
if you could
random.
retain that sense of self in your adult life, you'd have a totally different experience. At work, telling your boss, I hate you. I scratch you. I really do. Every day is the same fucking shit. I don't know why I keep coming back. Difficult to keep a hold of, though. That's why adults are confused a lot of the time. Adults are terribly confused, messed up people. That's because they forget, really. They don't have to pretend all the time. Really, the fact is, you're not an adult at all. You're just a tall child holding a beer. Having a conversation you don't understand. The Middle East, yeah, I know, it was really bad. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. Yeah.
That's so true. Most of us are like that. That's so true.
Hysterectomy, very painful. The shoulder is a very painful area. Being intimidated. I get intimidated by men, by other men. You know, we were talking about the driving lessons. The other guys talking in pubs about machines and cars. There's a whole culture of that. They're talking about the granumbulator on their whinny whacks of the car. And then they turn to me and go, what kind of car have you got? I go, I don't know, but when I get one, it's going to be a blue one. Men are always intimidating one another, competing with one another. They're more aggressive, I suppose. They did this study, actually, in the University of Chicago with women, and they worked out that the women are incredibly good at reading male faces. You know, there's two types, apparently. There's a kind of round, soft, sensitive-faced person who's a good person to have around and is good for you, good for a family, gentle and caring and can empathize. And then there's the other type, which is more kind of stronger jawed, more masculine looking, smaller eyes. You know, King Kong is what we're talking about here. And this, interestingly, this was the kind of male favored by women for what was called in the study brief relationships. What the fuck is that? One where you don't have to roll your tights down the whole way? What is a brief relationship exactly?
I think he was talking about the whole square jaw thing, you know, kind of face guy. But wow, Dylan Moran, I really enjoyed that. It's nice to step back into the stand-up reactions. I know I've kind of neglected that the past half of a year, but it's nice to get back into it a little bit. Maybe I'll start doing more. If this movie reaction stuff with the editing ends up working out, then I'm gonna have a lot more time to do more things. So maybe I'll start bringing them back soon. Hopefully it works out. But Dylan Moran, it still blows my mind that he was that very aggravating character in Shaun of the Dead. He did an excellent job making me hate that character. But his stand-up, he seems really relaxed and at home up there. I feel like a lot of the comedians that I've reacted to in the past have been very high energy, animated, really trying to loud too, like projecting their voice with authority. But this Dylan Moran, maybe not his material, but his style. Remember, not the material, but his style reminds me a little bit of Stuart Lee. I don't think Stuart Lee fans would take exception to that because from what I've learned on the Stuart Lee reactions that I've done on the channel, a lot of Stuart Lee fans like Stuart Lee and Stuart Lee alone. So if you compare anybody to him, they might get upset. But I'm not comparing the material. I'm comparing the style where they're very relaxed and nonchalant up there, and they feel at home up there on stage. So that's what reminded me of it. But his material, it was pretty good, and had me agreeing with some of the stuff he said. And but again, when he was talking about the biscuits thing in the church, which we would call the body of Christ, the ones at the church I went to growing up were absolutely disgusting. absolutely disgusting. I hated eating them. I didn't want the body of Christ after a while, after eating those things. So it was it was a kind of an unpleasant reminder of what that was like. But I like this stuff. Double thumbs up from me. And maybe I should do another one because he's got tons of stuff out there. Maybe he's got his own YouTube channel out there. I can't remember if he does. But if he does, might want to check that out because these comedians definitely need your support. Definitely. So you guys have a lovely day. Hope you like the reaction. Like, subscribe, do whatever you guys want. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, Boomerites.